J'inspire, je suis conscient de tout mon corps. J'expire, je souris à tout mon corps. Conscient du corps, sourire au corps. Breathing in, I am aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I smile to my body. Aware of body, smiling to body. J'inspire, je me donne mon présent dans l'ici. J'expire, je me vois pleinement présent dans le maintenant. Pleinement présent dans l'ici, pleinement présent dans le maintenant. Breathing in, I see that I am fully present in the here. Breathing out, I see that I am fully present in the now. Fully present in the here. Fully present in the now.
Mời các chị em lên trên này ngồi. Tại vì ở trên này trọng nhiều lắm. Mình không có năng lượng nhiều. Cho nên mời xem nào mà không cần thông dịch đi lên hàng thứ hai ngồi. So I would like to invite the Sangha to move up a little bit to have the collect energy to support me. So if anyone who don't need the translation, please move up a little bit. Thank you. Dear Sangha, we will listen to 3 sound the bell. So I would like to invite you to go back to yourselves. Sit beautifully and relaxingly. Keep our back straight, but really relaxed. And we feel that we interact. We are not separate with other people. We share the same atmosphere, the same air, the same collective energy. We sit here at the whole Sangha. Dear respected dear Sangha, today is the 18th October, the year 2020. We are in the Assembly Star Meditation Hall in Low Hamlet on the Mindfulness Day in the 3-month retreat. The weather today is very beautiful here we had the sunshine, and I hope that everyone enjoy it. After this, we had the walk-in meditation. I hope everyone enjoy your step, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the beautiful nature around. And I make a step. When I, with the awareness that Mother Earth support me, I feel much lighter. I feel at ease and relaxed. And I feel touched by Mother Earth. I feel touched by her capacity of non-discrimination, the capacity of embracing and humility. The Mother Earth doesn't discriminate anyone. She embraces all. So no matter how many people in the world, Mother Earth has enough space for everyone, for us to enjoy. We don't need to invade the territory of other people to enjoy, because Mother Earth has enough space for everyone. And if we walk this kind of awareness, it helps us a lot. Help us to stop thinking, help us to go back to ourselves and healing ourselves. Go back to realize the good quality inside of us, and we can learn a lot from the Mother Earth. Sometimes I want to touch the earth, to kiss Mother Earth, because it's very lovely. She offers us a lot. And by that way, we want to do something to offer back to Mother Earth. To do something to make Mother Earth become healthy, become fresh, become happy, for us to enjoy. So everyone, maybe we have our own way to protect Mother Earth. And I wish you to nourish this awareness inside of you as an individual and also as a sangha, as a community. Our body, our soul, our human is comprised by 5 aggregates. And without 5 aggregates, there is no human being. So I would like to draw on the board for us to see. The 5 aggregates we describe as as a tangerine. And the first is the form. For me, it's body. This body is made by our parents. Without our parents, this body cannot exist, right? And with our grandparents, and if we go further, it's all our ancestors. Thanks to our ancestors, we can exist. And also thanks to food. Without food, we cannot exist. Thanks to the earth. Without the earth, we cannot exist. Thanks to water, the sun, the trees, the air, the environment, the culture, the education. So all elements come together for this body to exist, right? So if we separate all these conditions, this body cannot exist. So if we separate all these conditions, we will see that in each individual condition, there are many, many elements in it. For example, the food, thanks to the earth, thanks to the soil, thanks to the sun, thanks to the water, thanks to the farmer, thanks to the cook, etc., to have the food for it. So we feel that we interact with each other. Because if we separate them, we cannot exist. And we will see we are related to each other very closely. All the conditions come together for us to manifest. We cannot exist by ourselves separately. And the second aggregate is feeling. We had the unhappy feeling, happy feeling, and neutral feeling. And the feeling is also the same. They interact with each other. It cannot exist by itself. For example, when you sit here, you are happy, it makes me happy. And if I see all of your face suffering, I cannot happy at all. If I see that you have the bright eyes, listen to my talk, so I'm happy, right? If all of you fall to sleep, maybe I don't have the inspiring to share. I'm not happy. So your feeling is made by of other feelings, and my feeling is made of your feelings. So they also interact with each other. So we cannot say that it is my feeling. I take care of it. You don't need to worry at me. Because we interact. Even we say that I don't worry, but it's fed on each other. And the third aggregate is perception. I draw it bigger, it's not because it's more important than this, but just because I don't draw it beautifully. So it is the same with the perception. And they used to say that 90% of perception is wrong perception. And we have tendency to create more when we see things. We don't see things as reality. So it is why we create the story story inside of us, and we had the wrong perception. For example, this morning we see one person. He walked very fast, and we didn't realize who is he, and he doesn't look at me. And later on, I discovered that we missed something, and we think that maybe he's the one who took it. But he saw me, so he walked very fast. I created the story. But in fact, that because he worried of something, so it is why he walked fast. But because I missed of something, I thought that he took it. So I create the story in my head. So it is why we have to be very careful of our perception. And we used to ask ourselves, are we sure? We have to ask many times to make sure that what we think is right. Because sometimes it seems that it looks like exactly the reality, but in fact that is not. So we have to be careful with our perception. And also our perception is not our own perception. Our perception is also made of with other people's perception. Together we can create the wrong perception as a group, as the community also. So we have to be careful, especially when we contribute the idea, what we see. Sometimes what we think or what we see is not correct with the reality, but we share that thinking, and the other person perceives as is a truth, and they can tell to another person, and slowly we thought that it is right, but in fact that is not. And so we have to be careful with our perception. And the four aggregates is mental formation. We had the 49 mental formation. Sometimes we say that we had the 51 mental formation. Sometimes we say that we had the 49 mental formation. Because perception is also one kind of mental formation, feelings is also a kind of mental formation. But they are rather particular, so we separate a little bit. So sometimes we say 49, sometimes we say 51 mental formation. Like anger, craving, jealousy, compassion, mindfulness, understanding. So all of them are mental formation. And our mental formation is also interbeing with other people. Sometimes we are very peaceful, and we sit still, we enjoy the nature, we talk to each other, we had a good conversation, and then someone came, she's very angry, and she says something, and our peace suddenly disappears, and we become anxious, and sometimes we become angry. So it's also effect on each other. Our mental formation is also made of other people's mental formation. So it is why we have to be careful to nourish ourselves in order that we have the beautiful, peaceful mental formation to offer to each other. Because what we are doing affects on each other, affects on other people, near or far. Even by the telephone, the people can enjoy our being. If we are happy, they will be happy. If we are anxious, they will be anxious. So we don't only affect the people near to us, but also the people all over the world. The mental formation have no location. It's there, but it have no location. We cannot find it. I remember that there was a story happened between one student and one Zen's master. One day the student asked the Zen master, "Dear master, my mind is not so peaceful. Please teach me how to ease my mind, how to pacify my mind." And the master say, "Bring your mind here. I will ease your mind." And the student looked for his mind. He looked around, but he cannot find his mind. And he say, "Dear master, I cannot find my mind." And the master said that, "I have already eased your mind." Not only our mind is no local, but the feeling, perception also have no location. And not only mental formation, perception, feeling have no location, the body also the same. We thought that the body is here, but in fact that our body is not just here. The body also has no location. It is no local. And if it has no location, so where is your anger? Where is your craving? Where is your jealousy? Where is your suffering? Where is your judgment? So it is maybe the objects for us to contemplate. And the fifth one is consciousness. And consciousness here is store consciousness. It's not my consciousness, but it's store consciousness. And the store consciousness is also the same with Mother Earth. Store consciousness doesn't discriminate. It contains all kinds of seeds: loving kindness, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, tolerance, all the beautiful quality, and also not yet beautiful quality like anger, delusion, craving, hatred, etc. All kinds of sins here. And stored consciousness is also the kind of mental formation, but in form of the seed. When it's manifest, it becomes the mental formation. But when it doesn't manifest yet, it stays in the kind of seed, in the form of seed. It stays in the stored consciousness. And this kind of seed, ignorance, hatred, craving, is form a force of energy that want to clean, that want to grasp, that want to possess. For example, when we see the beautiful flower and we like it very much and we want to get it, right? It's because of our craving. Of course, there are many levels of our craving, but we want to get it. And if we don't observe our mind, maybe we find a way to bring back home, to enjoy. And our mind maybe is not so peaceful because we're always thinking how to bring it home. If in the nature, we should take it because we say that it doesn't belong to anyone. we bring it home. But when we know that it belongs to someone, we cannot buy it. We may find a way to take it back because of our craving. We want to grasp. And when we want to grasp, we are not so peaceful anymore. Not only the object we want to grasp, but we want to grasp our ideal also. We don't want to release. It is why we suffer. So it's form, the energy, and this very strong. And it is manas. It is the operation of manas. Manas come from stored consciousness. It's come off. And then it's go back to stored consciousness to embrace the stored consciousness. And see it's her. It's me. It's mine. This is the operation of manas. When we think that I do, I think, it's my idea, it's because of this, because of manas. And it's create a lot of trouble. Manas didn't see that we interact, but they see as a separate self. I am different from you. You are outside of me. I don't have anything related to you. It is manas. And because the manas see you are different from me, so it's become compare. Because it doesn't see, it sees that you are different from me, I am different from you. I'm better than you. You are less good quality than me. I do this beautifully, you don't do it beautifully. I'm very careful, you are not so careful. And because of comparing, it's become complex. Inferiority complex, superiority complex, or even equal complex. And we create a lot of suffering on each other, for ourselves and for other people. So when we comparing, we may know that it's where it come from. So the practice is help us to transform manas. So we have to be careful and we have to be wise. There are two kinds of wisdom. One we call later acquired wisdom. In Vietnamese we call hậu đắc trí. The wisdom that we use to do the research, to analyze, to reason. And another kind of wisdom is root wisdom. It's there. But just because it's we full of irritation, full of anger, of illusion, ignorance, so it is why it doesn't manifest. So with the practice, we calm down ourselves, we let all this kind of mental formation calm down in order that the root wisdom can manifest. And when it manifests, and when the Matna is transformed totally, it's become, we call the great perfect mirror wisdom. we see things clearly. We see things as a reality. Not only the form, there are many conditions come together for the flower to manifest. But all the actions are also the same. For example, we have this mindfulness day. We don't have any particular person to do it, but there are many conditions come together. We are the schedule, we are the one who do cleaning, who were the one to cook today, we are the one to set up the meditation hall. All of things come together. But there is no need to have a particular person to do it. So we need all these conditions, but not the one to do it. It's so strange when we think like that. But in fact that it's come together for the mindfulness day to manifest. And it's no matter who do it. It needs to be done, it's done. That's it. But when we think that I have to do it, it is me, I do it. So there is problem. Because there is a self in it. And self is the operation of manas. Everyone contribute the good quality, the good talents for things to manifest. And in the Sangha, in the family, everyone have their own talent to contribute for the family to be happy. My family had a group of yellow, and we used to use it to share and to talk to each other, to have a conversation with each other, and I feel very nourished. And one day I say to my family member that everyone in my family, in our family, had the talent. And my older sister said that everyone has a talent, but I don't. I didn't know how to laugh. I didn't do anything. And I said to her that laughing is also very good quality. And make people laugh is also a good quality. So everyone contribute her or his part for the community, for the family to be happy. We don't say that, I do everything. You don't do anything. I clean up the house. I do washing. I take care of the children. And you don't do anything. But if we know that, if that person is not happy, we are not happy. if that person suffer, we suffer. So we take care of ourselves, we will take care of other people. Not only in family, but for the whole community, for the whole world. And thanks to the difference in the family, in the community, we become more happier. If everyone is the same, it's very boring, right? One day I give myself a massage. I massage my toes. I don't know if everyone has the opportunity to massage yourself, to massage your toes. If not, you can give yourself a massage. The peace of the toe is the peace of whole body. And I realized that the toes are not the same size. They are different. But thanks to the difference, we had the beautiful feet. If all the toes even, the same size is very funny, right? It is the same with the Sangha. If everyone is the same, the Sangha becomes very boring. But because we are different, it's become very diverse Sangha. Very alive Sangha. We had the Bodhisattva, his name is Sada Pariputta. He never doubt or never underestimate the capacity of other people. When he saw someone, he always say that you are the Buddha to be. I see that potential inside of you. Everyone had a good quality. We just water them for them to manifest. I don't know if you have any question. No question. No question is mean that we don't have any problem, any suffering, everyone practice perfectly. We become the great perfect mirror wisdom. We see ourselves clearly. I like this. Yeah, please go.
Maybe the second say more about mental formation.
Mental formation.
How they are related to the soul consciousness. How they come and go between mind consciousness and soul consciousness.
Yeah, thank you, Sugo.
You say there are 49, but we only told us about one or two.
When conditions come together for one thing manifest, we call formation. And when, for example, the body, many things come together for this body manifest, we call physical formation. This table we call physical formation. But what is it in our mind? We call mental formation. Is it in our mental? We call mental formations. So there are many kinds of mental formations, like anger, craving, ignorance, ego, hatred, doubt. What else? Faith, determination, compassion, tolerance, loving kindness, patience, joy, happiness, regret, shame, fear. All of this, all of the formation in your mental, in your mind, make you suffering or make you happy, is called mental formation. If you would like to know more, you go to do the research on the internet. But basically, anger, jealousy, despair, comparing, all this kind of mind, this kind of mental formation, make us suffering. And compassion, loving kindness, understanding, tolerance, forgiveness bring you happiness. So all kind of this is called mental formation. And they are all in the store consciousness, stay as a seed. When it doesn't manifest yet, it doesn't mean that they are not there. They are there. But when there's something happen, it's water that sits to make them manifest. It's trigger That's it. So it comes up and manifests as a mental formation. For example, you had the anger mental formation. It's not because you like to be angry, but because maybe many conditions happen for the anger manifest. For example, I say to the sister, please don't do this, but she keep doing it. And I say to her the second time, she still keeps doing it. And I say to her many times, she keep doing it. And the last moment, when I saw it, I get angry with her. Because it's water, the anger inside of me. Some people have strong or less strong mental formation. For example, my anger is very so strong. So it is why when I touch something, see something that I don't like it, the anger comes up very easily. But maybe other people, the seeds of anger less strong, so the same thing happen, but they are not angry at all. But maybe for other people, the seeds of fear very big, very strong. And when they see something strange, they feel very fearful. But other people, maybe the seed of fear is not so strong. So when they see something, but they don't feel fearful at all. So the thing is, the practice is to make them weak by the basic practice. When this come up, for example, the fearful, the fear, the anger comes up, we look at them, smile to them, and calm them down. And it will become weaker and weaker. And maybe next time when we saw it, when we meet the same situation, the fear doesn't come up. The anger doesn't come up. And as I say before, we are made of many conditions. Our parents, the food, the water, the environment, the culture. So we are not made by one particular element. So we share the same environment, but we have a different background. So when we want to understand one person, we have to understand her or his background also. Because sometimes someone they angry easily, but someone they don't feel angry easily. Because her background is different. So the mental formation of mind is different your mental formation of you. So looking deeply, we can understand other people. I don't know, is it clear to go? if every day we water the loving kindness, the loving kindness will grow up and become bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's become your habit energy. So whatever you're doing, you carry in it your compassion, your loving kindness. So if we don't have the compassion yet, or we feel we don't have the compassion yet or loving kindness yet, so every day we water them by particular action. For example, offer something to our sister, to our family member, say something nice to them. And if we do like that every day, our loving kindness and compassion become stronger. And the seed of compassion become more solid also. So the daily practice help us to manifest beautifully. So every day in my practice, I choose one good quality to water and to do, and one not good quality to practice, to transform, to balance myself. And day by day, I see that it manifests naturally. When I do something, I don't mean that I want to practice loving kindness, or I don't want to practice compassion. But later on, I realize that, this action is come from the loving kindness, from the compassion. Even we don't mean that we practice loving kindness or compassion, but it manifests naturally. So thanks to every day, we touch it, so one day it's manifest like that. Is it clear, Sugo? Thank you, Sugo. Is there other question? Yeah, please.
What is the conscience of the body in your...
What is what?
What is the conscience of the body in your jaw?
What is the
Where we can find the conscience of the body, your consciousness of the body on your drawing?
What is?
So, our friend is asking, where is the consciousness of the body in the drawing that you made on the board?
I don't really understand what you mean. Huh?
So, dear Tay, dear sisters, I think as I understood it, because when you mentioned consciousness, you said this consciousness refers to stored consciousness. And when you spoke about the 5 aggregates, you spoke about body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. So our friend is asking, where does consciousness of the body come in to your drawing? Because it looks like body is over here and consciousness is over here. So that's the question. How is...
Is that right? Yeah, please go.
Nam thức đầu.
Yeah.
Bởi vì một trong nam thức đầu là cái thức tức là I ear, nose, tongue, and body consciousness.
Yeah.
Dạ thì vẽ đi. 5 cái hả?
Thank you, sư cô. In fact, that 5 Africans interact. They interact. For example, in this body, there is no conscious, so this body cannot manifest. This body is not only the brain, the face, the hands, the legs, all organs. Because if there is no consciousness, the bodies become dead body. Even it's no logo, but still there. For example, the eyes is not only the eyes. If there is no consciousness, we cannot see things. So our mind, sometimes we divide into 2 for us to understand. Easy to understand, we call mind consciousness and store consciousness. Sometimes we add more as a manas, and sometimes we call them as a fine consciousness. And for 5, we have the ear consciousness, eye consciousness, ears consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, and body consciousness. So we call this first 5 consciousness and mind consciousness. So totally 6. Matna is 7 and stock consciousness is 8. So we have many ways to call it. For example, when we sleep, maybe all these kind of consciousness, like eyes, nose, eyes consciousness, ear consciousness, nose, tongue, and body, doesn't work. They stop. Especially when we don't have dream, it stop. But the store consciousness still working. Day and night is work. And if we use the mind consciousness, it consumes a lot of energy. But if we use the store consciousness, we don't consume a lot of energy. It is a way, it's like we let ourselves peaceful, for us to be clear, for the root wisdom manifest. It's always here. We don't do anything. Just let the anger come down, just let the fear come down, just let the ignorance come down, so the thing is manifest. Is this clear? Thank you.
Dear respected disciple, there is a question from a friend who is online now. Disciple, is it possible to ask to specify the difference between mental consciousness and manas? Thank you.
Mental formation and manas.
Yeah. And another question is, if you have time to go, many people are now suffering because of disease. I often feel helpless when my beloved ones are suffering. What shall I do to help them and myself? Thank you.
I want to make sure that I understand the question clearly. The second question is when we suffer because of disease, right? So
Yeah.
when our beloved one gets sick, how can we help them to release the suffering, right?
Yeah,
Is it
kind
correct?
of. Yeah.
Yeah. And the first question is
The difference between mental consciousness and manas.
the difference between the mind consciousness and manas. Okay. I will answer one by one. When we have the disease or we get sick, our body become painful. And sometimes we become suffering because of our pain. So we have to bear with the pain, but the suffering is optional. We can suffer or not. It's up to us. Sometimes we suffer because of the pain, but sometimes because of fearful. We are fearful that we will die. We're fearful that nobody take care of us. We become the burden for other people, for example. But with the practice, we go back to embrace all kinds of the thought come up in our mind. We can calm them down. We can go back to our body. Even we say that this body is non-local, the feeling is non-local, the suffering is non-local, but it's not outside of this body. Or the feeling is not in this body, but it's not outside of this body. So when we suffer, we can go back to ourselves, to embrace ourselves, embrace our breathing, embrace our body, embrace our feeling. And if we pay attention, we will see that in our body accumulate the suffering. Maybe on our chest it's very heavy, and we go back there to take care of it. Maybe it's accumulate on our belly, our intestine. So we go back there to relax, to give them a massage. It's also help. And we suffer because we keep thinking. And if we had the capacity to stop thinking, we are safe. We can transform. And by the way to go back to our body, help us to stop thinking. Because the worry doesn't help. The thinking doesn't help. If you had the positive thinking, it's good. But if you don't have the positive thinking, the more you think, the more worries you are. So go back to your body. It's easier because the body is something that concrete that we can touch, we can go back with. And if we don't have the experience, maybe it's difficult for us to help other people. So the practice is always come from ourselves. So when we have the headache, we go back to ourselves to see, to feel how we feel. Sometimes we have painful, and sometimes we suffer because of our headache. So we go back to relax, to smile to our suffering, to calm down our emotion, and we look clearly, look deeply to see what happened to make us become headache. Sometimes we thought that there's something in our head, but because some situation happened would make us think a lot. So it is why we stop thinking. It's help. And we had to contemplate. One day we get old, one day we get sick, one day we will die. It is impermanent. And we had to contemplate impermanent every day in order that we can transform the fear, the suffering. And because of impermanence, so when we get sick, then we can transform. We can overcome a bit. There is not only the suffering, but there is happiness. When I'm happy, I also remember the suffering moment I had. Because sometimes when we suffer, we are overwhelmed by suffering. And we only feel that we suffer. We don't see anything else. And we think that only ourselves suffering. We don't have any happy moment. So when I'm happy, I'm thinking of the suffering. And I see that I not only had the suffering, but also had the happiness. So with that awareness, help us even more happy. And help all the cells in our body feel happy. And it's made me happier. I said, oh, so happy. I'm so happy. So we don't wait until we get sick to practice. Because when we get sick, it's easy for us to think negative things. But if we maintain the practice every day, our practice becomes stronger day by day. So help us to think the positive thinking. And it also depends on the condition we have. For example, if we are in the family, there are members in our family, so we care for each other, we take care for each other. So with the awareness, with the loving kindness, with the compassion, we also help the other people feel more peaceful, feel more at ease. They feel loved, they feel cared by other people. And thanks to that, the suffering become less. The pain become less. So when we have the disease or sickness, don't let yourself overwhelmed by the pain. But we can nourish ourselves by other happy condition. We can smile now. Why we don't smile? Even we are sick. We can look at the blue sky. Why we don't look at blue sky? we can enjoy the green tree. Why we don't enjoy the green tree? We can breathe by ourselves. Why we don't breathe peacefully and happily? Don't wait until we become blind. We treasure our eyes. Don't wait until we cannot smell. We treasure our nose. Don't wait until we cannot walk. We treasure our legs. We have to treasure every moment of life. Sometimes we take granted what we have, but with the practice, we go back to recognize it, even the small things. And many small things become the big things for us to enjoy. And don't be hurry for the sickness to be overcome. It takes time, so allow yourself to have time for the disease to overcome. And with the mind of peace, help us to heal also. With the mind of fear, also help us to overcome the disease. So that is the answer for the second question. The first question is, what is the difference between the mind consciousness and madna? Madnas come from the stored consciousness, as I explained at the beginning. And it's turned back to embrace the stored consciousness, and it doesn't make the consciousness free. For example, I really want to offer myself or my sister the flower. But because the mana, they want to clean it, they want to keep it. So they don't allow me to offer the flower to my sister because it's want to grab. So it's prevent my compassion manifest. But when I offer to my sister, so the compassion manifests. So when it manifests, we call it mental formation. I don't know if you realize that. So when something already manifests, we call mental formation. When it doesn't manifest yet, we don't call mental formation. Maybe compassion, loving kindness still there, but it just stays in the kind of seed. It doesn't manifest yet. But it doesn't manifest, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Do you get it? The manas have tendency to stop you to do good things. And when it's transformed, we don't call them manas anymore. It's like the vine. Do you know the vine? It's come from the tree, but it's go back to embrace the tree. It attached to the tree. And sometimes it's made the tree become weak, and sometimes dying, because it's made the tree not free. the tree cannot manifest as a tree beautifully. It's because of the vine. So it is the same with manas. Manas embrace store consciousness, and it doesn't let the store consciousness manifest beautifully. We want to help. We want to forgive that person. But we had the fear that if we forgive that person, maybe she continue to do the same thing. So because of that, we don't want to forgive her. So forgiveness doesn't have chance to manifest because Matna stop you doing that. Matna very fearful that if you forgive her, she will do it again. And it's not free. But if Mana is transformed, store consciousness will be free and let forgiveness manifest. So you forgive her, forgiveness manifests. And when it manifests, we call it mental formation. So it is different between mental formation and manas. And also different between mind consciousness, manas, and store consciousness. Is it clear? Is it clear, Sugo? Is there any more question? If not, we can stop here. Thank you very much for your listening. I hope that the daily practice, the basic practice, can help us to transform manas for the beautiful quality manifest. And inside of you, inside of us, everyone has the potential to become the Buddha, has the potential quality to become the Buddha. So we water the awakened seed every day in order that will become Buddha. Buddha is not someone very far from us. Buddha is inside of us. We just let them manifest. And when the Buddha manifests, we know what to do and we know what not to do. And we become safe, we become peaceful, and we become happy. And please don't wait until we transform totally our suffering to be happy. Even we suffer, but still we can enjoy. So whatever we can enjoy, please do so. Don't wait until it's too late. And you transform, you can help other people transform. When you have the capacity to enjoy, you can help other people to enjoy. Thank you very much for your support. You will hear the 3 sound of the bell.